Warning. We are about to spoil Pushing Daisies Season 1. If you haven't seen the show and plan on watching it, leave now and come back later. But if you have seen it, or you just don't care, then please, stick around. The facts were these. Bryan Fuller, future cult TV icon, was 38 years, 9 weeks, 4 days, 5 hours, and 13 minutes old when his new show Pushing Daisies premiered. But after just 1 year, 29 weeks, 6 days, 23 hours, and 59 minutes, the show was killed by a company afraid of making anything original. Yet 12 years, 3 weeks, 4 days, 6 hours, and 12 minutes later, an underground podcast would use its gift to bring the show just an hour or two more of life. Just so people can remember the show for what it was.
Hello everybody and welcome to Cinema Roulette. Today we are back at it with Bryan Fuller, a fantastic TV director and so underrated, like my god.
Well, I don't know if he's still underrated because Hannibal got a lot of praise and so did American Gods.
Yeah.
So he at least has a cult following at this point.
Also, I'm going to set myself to D&D because I just got a fucking notification on Discord. I apologize, audience.
Yep, that was Cameron's Discord, not yours.
Yep.
But anyway, we are back with Bryan Fuller with his, I think, second TV show that he helped create.
Nice.
This is a show I watched originally when it aired. Cameron knew nothing going in.
Yeah, practically nothing. Like, I knew it had Chi McBride, I knew it had a crazy art style, but that's about it.
That's about it. And that show, which we mispronounced in the last time we talked about it, is Pushing Daisies.
Man, that silence, I tell ya, it's almost like someone's died.
I was gonna say it was a dead silence.
We were on the same track, but
And then, with a touch, it came back to life.
There we go. And now we're talking to you. But we only have a minute. Shit!
Welcome to the Flash episode of Cinema Roulette.
Goodness gracious, but yeah, I was gonna say, are you just going to recap like the main plot points then, or?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do basically what the summary of in the last episode is.
That's fair.
Because this is very much a crime of the week show with very light flowing story elements, at least for the first season.
Yippers.
You know what? I accept what's his nose, but Yippers is fucking pushing it, man.
It's not a thing I regularly say.
It's fucking pushing.
It's pushing.
Just
daisies.
like how we're pushing the daisies.
I
forget if I had anything else to say before getting into the summary. No.
I don't think I did either, so let's just go for it.
Cool. Pushing Daisies stars the Pie Maker, also known as Ned, but the snazzy fucking narrator likes to call him the Pie Maker all the time. Unless it is Flashback Land Ned, then it's younger Ned.
Yeah, that's young Ned.
And young Ned found out he had a gift when he was when he was young. Thanks, redundancy. You're always welcome on our show. He was out playing in a field of daisies. His dog ran to the road, got pet cemeteried, but Ned walks up and pokes him, and the dog comes back to life. Ned finds out he can touch anything that's dead and bring it back. I'm sure this will have no consequences whatsoever. Turns out, on the same day, his mother has a brain aneurysm. Falls over dead. He touches her, she comes back. There is another rule. After a minute, someone of basically equal value will also die. So like if he helps up a fly, a different fly will die. If he helps a human, another human in close vicinity will die as well. But that's fine. I'm sure it's fine. it does turn out his childhood sweetheart's dad is the other person who has to die.
Yeah. Oops.
But Ned goes to bed after the coroners show up, take the childhood sweetheart's name is Chuck. They take Chuck's dad. Ned goes to bed, his mom tucks him in and gives him a kiss. And then she's dead, because the final rule is if he touches the person or thing again, it will die. This time permanently.
Yep, and there's no bringing it back.
Unless we do some bullshit in season 2. But
yeah.
So the pie maker kind of grows very distant from people. And in order to feel like he's at home, he becomes, well, a pie maker because his mom liked making pies. So it's a thing. Also, if there's explosions this episode, it's the 4th of July. We apologize. We really have to get this one done.
Yes. We are already behind on schedule as is.
Yeah, with TV stuff. I'll say this again at the end of the episode. Next is probably a top 10. And then we'll get to Pushing Daisy Season 2.
Yes.
Just so we don't have to binge the entire goddamn show in like a week.
Yeah.
It's only 13 episodes, but anyway. That's other things. The pie maker's living his life pretty fine, has his own pie shop. It's a fine running business. He even makes it for cheap because he'll buy raw ingredients, touch them, bring them back to normal, and use them to bake pies. However, a detective named Emerson Codd finds out about the pie maker's abilities through a bit of an accident. And now him and the pie maker work together to solve crimes. You wake up at the pie for a minute, ask who killed them, find the killer instantly, easy peasy, all done. This becomes a problem though when a mystery woman dies on a cruise. This mystery woman is his childhood sweetheart Chuck. Ned brings her back to life, but doesn't put her back down.
Yeah,
instead prompting to let her live because love. And also the person who dies is a dickbag anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Chuck this entire time had been living with her aunts Lily and Vivian, who were mermaid dancers, who then after an accident became very recluse, so Chuck didn't go anywhere, finally went to see the world and died. So, that's fun.
Yeah.
There is also someone named Olive who works at the pie maker's shop who loves the pie maker, but of course the love triangles because it's a CW show. Pie maker loves Chuck. Olivia loves pie maker, but the love is not back towards her.
Was it a CW show?
It was. That's also probably why it was canceled so quickly.
Yeah, they do that.
The CW doesn't like having good shows, so they cancel a lot of things.
Yeah.
But this is how the show also, the pie maker does not want to admit to Chuck that he technically killed her father.
Mm-hmm.
For obvious reasons. But the rest of the show is rather just, I can't think of the word. Crime of the week type stuff until about episode 9. I mean, we do get a few other things like, Olivia kind of figuring out that Chuck Olivia thinks Chuck is faking her death, which is kind of true.
Yeah, like, technically.
Technically, she's right, in a way. We find out Emerson has a daughter at one point, but that isn't really expanded upon because he does not want to talk about it. Eventually, the pie maker does admit to Chuck that he killed her father. She's reasonably upset about this, but they do get back together by the end. There was one person that almost played by Paul Rubin, right?
Yeah, yes.
Paul Rubin, who almost catches on to Chuck, but doesn't look deep enough into it and wants her to just admit what's going on, so he doesn't know technically. Also, Chuck's aunts throughout the show, Chuck has been sending them pies with basically antidepressants.
Yep.
So that way they will finally get out of the house. And after basically her Aunt Lily almost ODs, well, takes enough to the point where she's hallucinating, admits that she is Chuck's mom, even though Chuck thinks her mom died.
Yeah.
And that's about where the show ends. That's where season 1 ends.
Yep. It ends right on that bombshell. Oof. Also, you were wrong. It was not CW. It was ABC.
Oh, was it? It said CW on the... Okay. Oops. Oh, that is right. It was on ABC. Okay. Still, ABC. I don't... What does ABC even have anymore?
Not much, really. Like...
Like, they have the Oscars, I know.
Yeah, but like when it comes to their original programming at the moment, they don't have too terribly much. That I know of off the top of my head, at least that I watch. So...
Like, are they just gay? That's something to look up later. Anyway.
Yes. But yeah, pushing up Daisies.
Yeah, you really want to say pushing up Daisies for this title, but it's just pushing Daisies.
It's just pushing Daisies. Yes.
Which it could possibly be because of the pun of they do push up the Daisy, but then push it back down because they have to kill the person.
Yeah. So. And that you might be thinking, yeah, it's stretching it a little bit, but knowing Bryan Fuller, that wouldn't surprise me because I think we mentioned it in our Hannibal episode how every episode is named off a feast of a Japanese meal, or well, one's Japanese, one's Italian, different kinds of like cuisines, I guess I should say.
Yeah, and it's to the point of cleverness where like the first episode is an appetizer type deal to start the meal. Yeah. It's stupid shit like that.
Oh, it's it's great. But yeah, so I think the first thing we should talk about is this series' style, because my god, it is so unique and so fast paced.
Okay, the thing with the style of this show is, I know that this is gonna sound like, well, if you turn an apple into an orange, then if you basically take an apple, make it orange, make it taste different, and grow it on a different tree, it's basically the same thing. But if you take this show, you move the camera to be more of a medium shot instead of low angle, and desaturate the colors and have everyone play it more serious, this is very close to the same stylization as Hannibal, which is weird to look at.
It is very odd, yeah. Like, you can tell if you just changed a few things subtly, it would just be shot in the same style as Hannibal. Like, it's crazy.
But... yeah, it's so stylish. It feels like Tim Burton, like good Tim Burton, directed the show and had the set design done. It's fantastic to look at.
Definitely. Wasn't it the same set designer as Cat in the Hat?
I don't know if it was, but it did look like his sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Hold on, I will look that up real quick.
You're fine. But yeah, just so fast paced, so like cartoony, and like the narrator too also just does a really good job of holding everything together. So
oh yeah, narrator gets some really hilariously paced lines.
Because my god, the puns in this show are stupidly like so many. Made me so happy.
I fucking hate it sometimes.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see here.
You're fine.
No, Bo Welch did not work on Pushing Daisies.
Okay.
The facts were these. Cameron had to take a 3-minute shit, so I jumped ahead in the audio to now, when we are still talking about the style.
Sorry, now I'm just thinking of the Civvy line where it's like, played something scary. It's like, ha, joke's on you. I don't even wear pants anymore, so I just shit all over my chair.
That's a great one. The thing about the style, too, is there's some TV green screen at times.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Like, that was the most egregious thing. And because the thing is, like, there is a lot of CG that's not dated well, a lot of green screen, but the show is stylized enough to the point where a lot of it you can look past.
Yeah, the style and especially the tone of this like dark fairy tale
Yeah.
allows you to kind of look past it like, okay, they probably know it, that's just the joke.
Exactly. It's like it's one of those things where it's like you know it's bad and you're just kind of rolling with it.
Like there's one episode where we find out Olivia was a horse racer at one horse jockey. And someone during the race fell off their horse and it's so clear that he just kind of slowly rolled off whatever he was sitting on.
Yeah. Or the one where the person's on the boat and the boat itself was clearly green screen, but the stock footage around it wasn't.
Yeah. Just, the lighting is so obvious. It's fun.
I do like the one part too where like they're in the car and whenever it's Ned and her you can see it's brighter, but whenever it cuts back to Chi McBride the background's clearly a different color.
No, it was even between them too, because there were 3 camera angles of Ned, Chuck, and you just said his name.
Yeah, well that's the actor's name, not the
Emerson.
Emerson
is the character's name.
Yeah.
But yeah, during that scene it cuts between the 3 of them and the outside is lighter for... You could call this symbolic, but it's honestly probably just a mess up. With Chuck, it's brighter. With Ned, it's kind of neutral in its brightness. And then for Emerson, it's darker.
Yeah. It's great. So, but yeah, it's like besides those, they're easily looked past. So I just every time it cuts to like the zoom in shot of the city up to the pie hole with that terrible CG, I'm just like, oh boy, pushing up Daisies for now available for PS2.
Set up again. That means more tasers.
Shit.
That's what we'll do for season 2. We both buy a taser, and anytime one of us says up, we just tase.
That's a terrible idea.
It's a great idea, I know.
Oh, goodness.
But also going off that stylization, there is another connection between Hannibal and this show. The fucking gore.
Like Jesus. Like, that's the thing. Like, this is also, obviously, like, besides being a dark fairy tale, an investigative procedural. And Jesus, because, you know, the people die in these different horrible ways, and, like, just the prosthetic makeup on them and all that, it gets really fucked at times.
Yeah, especially, there's one episode where a plane crashes and the dude goes through the windshield.
I hate
That's probably the most fucked up body of the show.
It's like he has, like glass, the shards that look like icicles just jutting out of his face. It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, you could definitely see that, if you've watched Hannibal at all, Bryan Fuller has always been ready to make the most fucked up corpses imaginable.
Exactly. Like, my god. Like, every time they do a body, there's something else fucked up. Like, I do like for the horse one, how it's just like a horse stomp.
Oh, yeah, because the murderer of that episode goes around with a horse and makes it basically trample people.
And, like, they do talk differently, too. Like, the guy with the, like, horse face, he has to, like, talk like this because his face is, like, pulled to one side. And, like, that one's fucked, too, because you can, like, see the eye pulled down as well. Like, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And
actually, that's what makes it so much worse, is the corpses talk at one point. So you see this monstrosity of a corpse move.
Yes, and Emerson is rightfully freaked out by this, so he always stays as far back as possible. And it's same with like the guy who was put in the snowman. Like, he talks like this because his whole body was frozen. So,
yeah,
I do love the one episode with the dummies where like he brought the body back to life. It starts screaming, and Emerson just goes, "Ah!" Oh boy. But yeah, those get really fucked, and it's really impressive, the makeup on that. Like, that was all done practical. So
yeah, especially the woman who had her full body burnt from the explosion.
That's just impressive makeup work there. Like, the makeup budget was probably really high for the show. So
definitely you can see where the CG budget went.
Yeah, exactly. But that's fine, because that is one of the most memorable aspects of the show, is just the fucked up corpses. Just hate it. But so that's really impressive. I mean, lighting just kind of goes in with the cinematography and the style and stuff. Just everything that relates to that is so good. Actors are all
Yeah,
great
honestly,
as well.
if the lighting and set design wasn't the way it is,
Oops.
this show is walking such a fine line between comedy and just pure fucked upness.
It does help that like the tone of the show is much lighter, because if it wasn't, then we might have censorship issues. So
Not even censorship issues, it would just be too much of a fucking downer.
yeah, honestly, kind of reminds me how like the 1966 Batman, they went like full on campy because they knew if they just did a direct adaptation of the comics on television, it would probably get censored to hell.
Oh yeah, Hays Code would hate that.
Oh yeah, like that's the thing. Comics back then could get away with way more than television and movies.
Actually, then again, this show has a dude with like part of his cheek missing when he talks at one point.
Oh yeah, I hate.
But it's rated PG.
If you stream the show on HBO Max, it says up in the corner TV PG. Bullshit.
Yep. Yeah. No.
Bullshit. But yeah, I just love the style. It's just so endlessly entertaining and in your face, and just so fast paced and witty that it really has such an undeniable charm to it. And I love it. So good. And actually, going to the story a bit, it does a good job of keeping the twists and turns really well as well. So.
Oh yeah, for a cop show, they have so much fun with it. It's hard to tell where something is going.
Yeah, like the surprises and the twists have been genuinely surprising for the most part. So,
I mean, fucking hold on, let me see here. There's in episode 3, it's about it's about the person who died so Chuck could live.
mm-hmm.
Because his brother thinks someone killed him due to them both stealing from corpses at the funeral home
Yeah,
that they run.
Yep.
And you think it's going to be about finding this treasure, and then it goes a different way of like, okay, there is actually a murderer out there who knows what's going on. And then the episode ends with a fucking sword fight. Like, what cop show would do this ever?
It's so like out there, like it's crazy. Yeah, it is like a full-on like swashbuckling sword fight. It's great.
It's actually really well choreographed, which was more surprising.
I loved it. It was fantastic. It was really cool. But that's the thing. It like just came out completely out of the fucking blue. Like, my God. And Ned's got some moves, man. Dude can sword fight.
Making pies helps with one-handed fighting, I guess.
Apparently, yeah. It's that
You made one pie.
Yeah.
Swashbuckling, level up.
Yeah, exactly. It's that dexterity, man. But yeah, it's just I love it. I love it. I just, what else can I say? But I love it. It's so out there. It just rolls with it.
Yeah, it keeps it so light and fun that it does allow itself to do just about anything.
Yes.
And some of the jokes are just fantastic. Like the Nom joke from.
Oh, yeah.
What was it?
What was the acronym? Because they're like, oh, and NAM, and they're like, I don't think you ever served in Vietnam. Oh no, NAM, and it was an acronym for something.
National. It's something Mills, and I can't remember what.
It's like National Association of Mills or something. So
yeah, it's something like that, because it's a place where a bunch of windmills are, because it turns out the killer of that episode is looking for a treasure that was put in a windmill that got retired. And that's not even the weirdest part of the episode, I'd like to note.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Or in the horse murderer episode, there's scenes where the characters go and talk about, where Olivia goes to talk with Emerson about what's going on, and they get fucking noir-style lines as they're talking about the case.
That was the funniest shit. Like, they get, like, noir-style lines, like, it's like that very fast-paced, I wish I could give specific examples, but like fast-paced 40s noir dialogue, and the best part about that is the lighting changes, and like, when they're sitting down, it just changes to like this Venetian blind lighting.
Yeah, that's
and like the music comes in, there's like a sax, like wow, 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 wow. Oh, it's so fucking funny.
There's so much dark humor in the show because, and again, it helps keep that line between going too dark and still being funny.
Mm-hmm.
Just how much Aunt Lily wants to die is darkly hilarious.
It is, because the one aunt is more the peppy, like, oh, we can do this kind of stuff, and she's like the negative Nancy, just like, oh no, this is bullshit. So like, and yeah, because like she and they try, like, the recurring plot point is like we said, Olive delivering pies, and the daughter putting herbal medicine in it, try to pick them up, and it's almost working. It's getting close. So it's just so funny, because like, I guess she like turned into such a negative person just so she didn't have to talk about it or something. Like, the show does that sometimes. Like, it drops just these heavy emotional bombshells about what the characters are thinking or how they feel, and it just gets dark at times, really, with it.
Yeah, and that also helps with the tone of the show and keeping the characters like three-dimensional instead of just being witty the entire time.
Exactly. It adds depth that like normally would just be kind of unnecessary, but it just adds more to the show, really, and I love it. Speaking of which, all the actors do a fantastic job in this.
Oh, everyone is great.
Yeah. There's no one I can point to who does a bad job. Everyone is fantastic. It seems like they know what the show is going for and go for it. So the guy who plays Ned, Lee Pace. I knew him from a show called *Halt and Catch Fire* that was on AMC. He was one of the leads in that, so it was interesting seeing him before that. Chi McBride I've just seen around, and he's always fucking hilarious.
And like, even the people who just play the corpses, who are literally there for a minute, they have such an upbeat tone. They're not like freaking out that they're dead. They're just kind of like, oh, okay. So
it's great. Yeah, like, oh yeah, I died. So is this like heaven or something? And like, yeah, and we're angels of justice.
Oh, so I am in hell.
Yeah. The one car salesman dude, he's like, am I in hell? Because frankly, I kind of deserve to be there.
Yeah. Or Joel McHale shows up for one episode. It's, going back to the good twist, he says, oh, his wife did. He's a polygamist, so he has 4 wives.
He never said which wife did it. Yeah.
Which also, if you want a spoiler for the episode of Who Did, it's the one woman who isn't in red, or have red in the scene when going over her backstory.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is a red herring.
Get it?
I hate this fucking show.
I know. The puns, man. Oh, it's so great. Or like the one dude who's like supposed to be like really clean or something, and like at the end, like, he gets justice with the stuff being sucked back onto him. And he's like, well, it turns out he was just a dirty murderer or something like that.
Oh my god.
God damn it, show.
And that episode had a fucking person die by scratch and sniff. Like, honestly, you would never get this from any other cop show. I don't know why there aren't more comedic cop shows like this.
I know, because like the possibilities for comedically over-the-top deaths are just endless. Like, come on. Death by scratch and sniff. That's so dumb. It's great.
And no, I'm not talking they just sniffed up poison. They scratched it, but it turned out the thing to scratch was a high explosive and fucking blew her to smithereens.
It like did like a chemical reaction when you scratched it and just boom, instantly exploded. Oh man.
I mean, there's shows like Castle where it does have comedic elements, but the deaths are still, the usual person was shot and left in a pool, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing that a lot of American TV does, is they try to add humor for the characters and not the situations. Like, a lot of the times, like, you'll have humorous exchanges between the characters, or like situations that they're put in that are funny, but like the rest of the show will play out completely straight-faced and serious.
Yeah, but this one, It says fuck it, and it goes for it. It goes for being a fully comedic crime police procedural.
Yeah, and it's great. And season 1 is only 9 episodes, by the way, so that's why we were only able to do it in one sitting.
Yeah, that's why there's very little plot stuff. It's 9 episodes.
Yep.
Not much for us to do.
Exactly.
Type deal.
So.
We'll probably also do season 2 in one episode. It's only 13.
Yeah. So.
Unless it gets plot heavy, then we'll split up like we did with Hannibal.
Yes. But yeah, anything else to say on it?
I do love the over-the-top effort for like episode 6 where they do the Vertigo mental break scene.
That was so unnecessary, but like everything about that was so well done. Because what happened? Like he gets knocked out or something, right?
He gets knocked out because he tries to blame someone for it's not actually them.
Yeah, and like they not really poison him, but knock him out with what is it?
Chloroform.
Chloroform. I wanted to say cyanide. I was like, no, I'll kill people. Chloroform. But
I mean, they'll be knocked out for a long time.
Yeah. Forever, if you might add. But yeah, but
not
like
forever. That could help.
That's true. Yeah, like they do the thing where like his subconscious realized what happened before he like his awake self did it. So in his dream, he's like putting stuff together and it just goes full on Vertigo and trippy. Like they do the famous shot of the face just in like with the stuff in the background. And I love the shot like where he's like falling and then like all these pies are coming in and like twisting and stuff.
Yeah, it's so over the top and there's no reason for it.
Yeah, honestly, that was probably the best CG in the whole show because it looked really good.
It did, because they used dark colors. That always looks better.
We keep telling you guys this for CG. Use it in darker situations. Come on.
Yeah, a show made nearly 10 years ago.
How
you should know better.
Honestly,
I think it's over 10 years ago. I forgot.
It's almost 15. It was 07 is when this aired. So
Jesus.
07, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, it's 14 years old, this show.
I also want to mention in that same episode with the Virgo reference, there's one scene where the polygamous wives are all dog trainers, and the episode's called Bitches.
Get it?
Go ahead and laugh. But there's one scene where the case is closing in on one of the wives, and the camera shot of her is through one of those training rings a dog will jump through when focusing on her, so it's a lot more closed in while still using the natural set around it to do so.
Oh yeah, like the way he uses the sets in the show is fantastic. Like you get full use out of them. They're really well done.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be this good, but it is, and that's super enjoyable.
It's probably just because it's Bryan Fuller and he's just that good that he takes a show that could just easily be just a straight comedy and elevates it to a new level.
I kind of wish he would make a movie. I don't know if he did make a movie for his other show, Dead Like Me.
Oh, that had like a TV movie?
Yeah, because it also got canceled early and they allowed him to have a wrap-up movie for it.
That's nice, at least.
And since fans are still asking for a Pushing Up Daisies movie, I have a feeling we're gonna end on a shitty cliffhanger.
Yeah, and you did the thing too now.
What'd I do?
You said Pushing Up Daisies.
Damn it! For the last episode of the season, though, because most of the show's been fun, dark, fantasy, whatever, it just talks about how fucked up the medical insurance is and how fucked up our systems were at the time.
And still are, really. But yeah, he just straight up goes in the social commentary, and it's not even well hidden. It's just straight up, these companies fucking suck.
It's as blunt as the Saw movie about fucking health insurance.
It really is.
That's all I wanted to say on that one.
It was a surprising moment because considering the tone of the rest of the show, it's like, well, I think Bryan Fuller may have been a bit bitter at this time.
Yeah, just a bit. Oh, and also a good use of irony or poking fun at cop shows. Like a great joke in episode 2, even though I was high during most of it.
Same.
there's a moment where the killer traps our main characters in his smart car and is trying to explain his whole evil plan and why he's been doing all this. But the windows are soundproofed, so the characters don't hear fucking anything.
Well, the windows are soundproof, and they're in like bags, body bags. So
Yeah, they're put in body bags so there isn't mess to clean up when they die.
So there's this great shot of him just like talking in fast forward, like, and the character's just looking confused.
They can't hear him.
It's great. It's just, oh my god, so funny.
But yeah, so far I do highly recommend the show.
Yeah.
We're recording this on the 4th of July, so it's coming out the same week we're recording it. It's still on HBO Max at this time.
So if you're curious and you want a fun police procedural, definitely check it out.
Yeah, check out season 1 and watch season 2 before we review it.
Yeah. As I say, you might know some stuff beforehand and you'd be like, ooh, well, I wonder what these two blokes thought about it.
Or what these two fuckheads will think. Anything else?
I think that's about it. I think I'm good on that. So, yeah, I think we'll be back then, with the top 10? Or is it Fringe?
Yeah, we're going to try to do top 10 next, so that way we don't have to binge all of season 2 super quickly.
Yeah.
Next is Ministry of Fear.
Yep.
That's next week.
That it is.
And for once, we actually talked long enough about a movie to not have to do a double episode.
Yay!
Which, if you didn't listen to those episodes, go back and listen to them. Pretty good. Especially, I personally really like Super Ultraman. Inframan, not Ultraman.
Yeah. It's easy to get them confused, so...
But, yeah.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe I'll play the finger touch noise that the episode ends.
That'd be clever.